Let's bring in NBC's Yamiche Alcindor. Jeff Mason is the White House correspondent for Reuters. Symone Sanders Townsend is back with us. And I know, Yamiche, you've got new reporting on the vetting process and what Harris is looking for. Tell us about it.
Well, can't we all just pause for a minute and just realize that we're sort of in this space where people are publicly sort of trying to try out for the job. We're seeing all sorts of interviews and things. So it's just really funny to see Josh Shapiro saying it's up to the Harris campaign, but he's definitely doing what he can out there. But in talking to the campaign this morning, it was the first time that they were publicly acknowledging what you said, that they are campaigning and that they are vetting people in earnest, that this process has began in earnest. It's interesting because we've been hearing for a long time from sources. You have that graphic where we were listing all of those, the contenders there, but that was all from sourcing. That was all from calling people close to it. And now the campaign is saying, yes, we are starting that. I also got some information from a campaign aide specifically talking about what Harris herself is thinking in this moment. And this is really new because people around her had been telling me what they thought, but to hear sort of what the candidate herself is thinking is really important. So I want to read part of it because it said they're looking for someone, she's looking for someone with shared values of fighting for the middle class, protecting democracy and freedoms, treating people with respect and dignity, and creating an America where somebody gets a fair shot and everybody gets a fair shot. They also say that she's looking for a governing partner that's going to be ready to be president on day one. So it's really interesting to hear her say that. She's also interestingly saying that she's looking for someone with similar qualities than what President Biden was looking for when he selected her. And it's really interesting because a lot of the sources that I've been talking to have been telling me, actually, this is sort of more like Obama looking for Joe Biden. But to hear her say, actually, she's looking for someone who can be a partner, who can have the same kind of relationship that she has with Joe Biden, is really telling of how good of the relationship she has with the president, but also what she's looking for and who might end up being on her short list and at some point a finalist here. Chris?
I think, Symone, because you were up close and saw how a relationship with a vice president works with a president, and I thought that when she went to campaign headquarters and when Doug Emhoff was introducing her and told the story about how they went over to their house when she was chosen and he called his parents, and you could see, right? You could see in the interchange, even with the president on the phone, the warmth. But can we talk about that? Because so often we talked about, well, what state do they live in? And that's important. And, you know, what are their policies? Do they have anything in their background that could be sketchy? Obviously, that's important. But shared values, respect, dignity, similar qualities. You are going to be in a pressure cooker together, right? How important do you think those things are?
I think those are actually most important. When you are choosing a running mate, you are not choosing someone who you think will help you win X state. Sometimes it is a factor, but really you're choosing a governing partner. You're choosing who you want to spend the next 4, maybe even 8 years in meetings with, calling up on the phone in very tough moments. Who do you want to do the work with? And I was not surprised to hear how the campaign aide came out and described this to Yamiche. And frankly, it seems to me as though that the campaign actually thought that they needed to speak up and say something. Usually you do not speak about a vetting process. All of these folks that are, saying, I saw somewhere, not Yamiche, because Yamiche has good reporting, but somewhere at another outlet, someone reported that a White House official named a couple of individuals from this list as these are the top contenders. No one, who knows who the top contenders are? The candidate. Vice President Harris is the only person that knows who her top contenders are, because it is a choice she is going to make. Just like in 2020, this was a choice that Joe Biden made. His advisors and his committee had suggestions and thoughts, but at the end of the day, it was he who chose Vice President Harris for many of the reasons that she named in what she is looking for in her running mate. And so that is what's going to be crucial and critical. Chris, usually this takes about like 2 months where you just do the interview process with the potential running mate, and then you go out and you do even more background checks. They don't have 2 months. They have about a week. And so I don't envy this process at all. I mean, look at what happened with J.D. Vance. Now, all of a sudden, he's written the foreword to Kevin Roberts' book. I can't imagine Donald Trump is happy about that.
Yeah, Jeff Mason, you've been on the trail with a few presidential campaigns, I think Biden, Trump, Clinton. I think you and I might have first met on the McCain campaign.
We did, I think, too.
As you look at this, how does the first few days of the Harris campaign compare to every other campaign you've ever covered?
Well, there are just so many differences in terms of timing and in terms of the situation. But what I will say about her first week, I think you can say quite neutrally that she had a great first week. She had amazing fundraising in terms of the dollar figures that started pouring in. She gave some very robust campaign speeches, both at the headquarters and then in the rally that she had, and then in the events in Houston. And then she came out yesterday in an official role after her meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and gave remarks that also made a lot of news and that may have shown a little bit of distance between her and President Biden on Gaza, although they were consistent with what she has said before. It was just the setting and the tone of what she did and how she did that added, I think, to a week in which she has shown a lot of Democrats that she can do the job, not only as a candidate, but as the president if she wins in November. And that's the hurdle that she needs to cross, to get over. I guess the next question is, how long does this honeymoon last? Because it is, at least on some level, a honeymoon. The positive sort of momentum that she has seen may continue all the way into November, but it may not, because certainly the other side will be coming out, as it already has, with some attacks against her, and there are things that she will be facing that may blunt that momentum. But for now, to get back to your initial question, Chris, she's had a good week.
Yeah, I would say by any standard, this has been quite the rollout. You know, there's another part of this that we didn't talk about, Jeff. The top VP contenders do seem, I don't want to say to be falling all over themselves, but they're working very hard to show they can raise money. And look, fundraising is part of the job. Look at this invitation. You've got Pete Buttigieg's husband and the second gentleman who are going to co-host a rally or, fundraising event on Fire Island next weekend. We mentioned in the last hour that Gabby Giffords, the organization she co-founded with her husband, who also happens to be somebody being named as a possible VP, is giving $15 million. I mean, it can't hurt, right? It's part of the job, although I don't remember it being quite so overt in the past.
It can't hurt, indeed. And the other piece of that job is the role of attack dog. And that clip that you played of Governor Shapiro going out strong earlier is a demonstration that that's a role that he'd be happy to jump into if he were offered the opportunity. So, yeah, there are a lot of factors that go into a decision on choosing a running mate, which my co-panelists have very eloquently outlined. But certainly the ability to raise money and have some chemistry with the candidate and be able to govern are top of the list.